version of Pinocchio decided to make Gideon and Honest John gay thanks to this little thing I noticed on Gideon's mallet? Leave it up to Disney to make the villains the gay ones. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to my review of the live-action Disney Pinocchio. A movie I kinda didn't mind the idea of getting turned into a live-action version, because the original came out in 1940, so there's at least a huge time gap. But, alas, like everyone else is saying, this movie was soulless, pointless, full of bad CGI, and overall pretty bad. I did watch the original before watching this movie. I did do a quick short review on it, but if you didn't watch it, in short, it's a good movie. The messages are clear, the animation is smooth, it did feel a little bit long, and it can be a bit racist. Like, all the bad things that go on at Pleasure Island is associated with a race. Yikes, Disney. But I still give the movie 9 out of 10, so let's talk about this movie. I do like the opening starting with Jiminy singing at the end of the opening, reminding us the opening theme is the Wish Upon a Star song, which I did forget about, so that's kinda a smart idea. It is terribly sung though. Like, Jiminy's voice isn't bad, but him singing was real bad.
When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
So most of the movie stays the same, but they did decide to change something that does change the feel of the movie. Geppetto had a son. Key word, had, and he makes Pinocchio in his image. This changes something that didn't need to be changed, because now instead of a happy old man, we get a sad old man played by Tom Hanks, who, I have to agree with everyone, doesn't add anything to the role. Because with them changing a tone, it's not a good thing. There's no colour, everything is dark, so you can barely even see the cat, Figaro, who is not a character at all in this movie. So with him being sad when he is dancing around Pinocchio, there's absolutely no energy in that scene at all, making it boring and just slow feeling. Then suddenly random new character comes in to buy one of the clocks, but he is attached to these clocks because they were his wife's favourites. They need to explain everything in this movie. Like they explain why Pinocchio is called Pinocchio.
You're a boy made out of pine. Pinocchio. Pinocchio. What?
It reminded me of the movie Rogue One. That movie only exists to explain why there's a pipe to the core of a Death Star that Luke shoots down. That's the only reason that movie exists, and I hate it. He's a clockmaker, of course he would have clocks on display. But oh, those clocks are more than just clocks. They're advertising! So in the original, the clocks play along with the background music, all having their own beat and are all different clocks, and it's a fun, inventive scene that goes with the music. Which is something I really loved in the original movie. There's moments where the music goes with the characters' movements.
I can walk!
Disney understood this back in the day. Even The Lion King understood it in the 90s, and when they made a new one, they didn't. Just shows how quick things change. In this movie, the clocks are just nothing but loud noises and merchandise. It's loud and very in your face, but the absolutely worst part? Well, here's what happened after the scene in the original.
I wonder what time it is.
Here's what they did before the clocks happened in this new one.
What? Oh, yes, almost time, but Wait for it.
The clocks were a joke in the original, that even though he had a bunch of them on the wall, he still goes, "Oh, I wonder what the time is," and checks out a pocket watch. That's funny, that's very clever. In this one, there's no joke, it's just advertising. So right away, I'm already just like, screw you, Disney. It's like, oh look, it's almost time to show off the Disney merch. That's what it felt like, it's so stupid. So next scene, he goes to bed, turns out some lights, suddenly they're all turned off. They remove a scene of Figaro opening up the window and just do Geppetto do it, and this is the one time he acts a little excited as he sees a star, wishes upon it before going back to sleep. Now, time slows down or stops, it's really random, because then Jiminy is still moving and everything, so what was up with that? So then a blue light comes into a photo of his wife and comes out to Pinocchio, and then he becomes able to walk and talk. But things get really bizarre as the blue fairy shows up and has no understanding of what's going on.
You're not really real, are you?
Of course he's real. He's alive, isn't he?
And who might you be?
She is completely confused and doesn't even know who Geppetto is.
Well, a wooden boy. Geppetto, who lies thither, sawing wood. He's the woodcarver, I assume?
Why do this? Why? Why, movie? Why do this? So you have to explain everything to the little kids because they once again explain why Pinocchio has that name like it's a funny joke.
Sounds like your head is made of white pine. Hence, Pinocchio. The perfect name for a boy with a wooden head.
The blue fairy in the original made Pinocchio real because Geppetto gave so much and asked for so little.
Good Geppetto, you have given so much happiness to others. You deserve to have your wish come true.
That is a major difference in this movie, and so she made his wish become true because he deserved something nice. Here, there's no reason at all. 'Cause he's sad? Well, tough. Like, what makes him so special compared to others who have lost kids? How about all the ones, spoiler alert, that get taken away as donkeys and never return home? What about those parents who probably think their children are dead? Why don't they get a son? The idea doesn't work. Geppetto is just your average old man, not someone who truly deserves something because of his selfish nature. He keeps all the clocks for himself, for example. Like in the original, you kind of just assume that, yeah, he is selfish. So he would probably give away all those clocks to all the children. She even says, why didn't he make a real boy? But you made him come to life. What the heck is going on? So she didn't do that? The freaking photo made it happen? It's actually really confusing and making me really angry because it's just freaking weird. And then she randomly goes into, gotta be brave, truthful, and unselfish if you want to become a real boy. Sorry, but why? Sounds like you don't care at all, so why? You don't even understand what's going on, so why would you understand? Oh, if you want to be a real boy, you have to do this. You don't even know what's going on, so just make it real and be on your way. Then she sings, When You Wish Upon a Star.
Like a bolt out of the blue.
Honestly, not a bad place to put it, and it's not badly sung. Like, she didn't try to do anything fancy like Beyonce did in The Lion King or what they're doing in the Little Mermaid trailer.
But what I can't decide, why won't it be the wish I could be?
Then Geppetto wakes up and gets scared by Pinocchio, setting off for Disney merchandise, I mean the clocks. At least one of them looks like the original one, but they did change it a little to fit with the times, which makes it really utterly pointless that they added that one. I will say Pinocchio's voice is pretty spot on. I also don't mind the way he looks. A lot of people think it's creepy, but I'll say the original had a lot more creepier eyes to him. So, all excited, Geppetto starts to sing a new song of Pinocchio. They didn't need to add this. Adding on a song just makes this tacky and not make me believe he's actually happy. He's just singing. Even though it's only like a quick 20-second song. Like, that happens a lot in this movie. People just start kind of singing, but it ends in 10-20 seconds. It's weird. We then see a quick montage of him already using Pinocchio as free labor compared to the original where he sent him off to school the very next day, which to me was like, well, anything that happens to Pinocchio is your fault. So I don't mind this. So he goes to school and it's such a sudden shot I felt like I got whiplash.
Maybe it is time for you to go to school.
Really, Father? Really?
It's mostly the same as the original, but with a CGI pony in the background. Like, I understand making Figaro CGI, but really? You seriously needed to add a CGI pony? Jiminy wakes up and wads off after Pinocchio and asks this seagull to help because they needed to add this new character to the story, which, by the way, Geppetto calls Sophia, which is what she introduces herself as. Now, she can't talk to Geppetto, but how does he know her name? Did someone have Jiminy as a pet and call him Jiminy, and that's why he calls himself Jiminy? Yeah, it raises questions that shouldn't be needed. Then comes the reason why I'm here. Honest John, who is very, very animated. A bit too much in the sense the model looks great, but with him being so animated the way he is, the CGI really shows how, like, mediocre it is. Also, Pinocchio smells horse poop here. I get that he doesn't understand things, but seriously, you couldn't think of another way for Pinocchio to stay behind. So they catch up to him, and I will say, Keegan-Michael Key does a good job at voicing him.
Gideon, remember the time I tied strings on you and passed you off as a puppet? Remember when he found out how he beat... Gideon, listen.
Especially compared to his god-awful performance in Lion King live action. Yeah, I've got to keep on bringing up that movie. Got to keep on bringing it up.
Mufasa is strong, like way stronger than us.
Most of it plays out the same, but then in quick succession, we get him saying influencer and making a Chris Pine joke. Awful, awful writing. Absolutely awful writing.
An entrepreneur, nay, an influencer. We need a simple, strong stage name. Slab Oakley. Chad Log? I've got it. Chris Pine.
So Jiminy comes down, getting a knocks Honest John out, and then himself, changing what happens a little as Jiminy gets Pinocchio to go to school. And guess what? He actually goes to school. Yeah, he actually goes to school in this movie. But he ends up being kicked out because he isn't a real boy. Now here comes a problem. The idea of Honest John is that he is temptation. Jiminy says that in both movies. Really easy, simple to understand for kids. He is temptation. But now, with him being kicked out of school, he has no other option that he's aware of. So it makes it less about temptation and more so that he has nothing else to do. He tried school. He tried to go to school, but was kicked out. So, like, what is he supposed to do now? That's not temptation, you terrible writers. You took out a necessary and easy to understand message. For what? No, seriously, for what? I don't understand why you would change this. There is no temptation here. So yeah, Fox and Cat put a jar on top of Jiminy so he's stuck, which is new, as they convinced Pinocchio to join Stromboli's puppet show. And now it's late and Pinocchio ain't home, so Geppetto grabs the cat and his fist to go out and search for him. This only exists to explain why in the original movie he was in Mostro's stomach with a cat and fish. But it is absolutely stupid here. Yeah, an explanation is nice, but it's just so stupid because we could already pick up that's probably what happened. He probably did take them along with him because they were characters in that movie. They're not characters here. So why even include them? And now a new character, which again isn't needed as he's in the show, but then we get a new girl putting on some strings on Pinocchio before he does the play. She has like a broken leg or something. It's weird. It doesn't play into anything. Though we also can see Stromboli is drunk, so I assume he did it to the girl. But it's never brought up. It's I guess like that subtle little thing, oh he's a monster, he's a bad guy. It's just like, well, duh. So now he sings I Got No Strings, and it's as problematic as the original. Okay, maybe worse. See, in the original you got the other puppets coming on to Pinocchio, and he's a child. Now they got one that outright shows her ass to him, so maybe it is worse. Also, the music is really loud and obnoxious in this scene. In the original, it's charming. Here, it's outright annoying.
I got no strings to hold me down, to make me fret or make me frown. I got no strings to hold me down, to make me fret or make me frown.
And of course, because they randomly need to add in some more things, Pinocchio is using his feet so fast they catch fire. Because modern day movies need to add intensity when there doesn't need to be. It happens a lot in this movie. We later get a song from a new girl and it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. Easily the worst song in the movie.
Start with the tango, and then the salsa, and then the rumba.
The song doesn't fit at oh, and then like she uses the puppet to talk to Pinocchio, and the puppet CGI is worse than Pinocchio. But then Stromboli returns, and there's just no subtlety with him. In the original, he's being nice and kind until the final second he throws Pinocchio into the birdcage. Here, he just does it in an instant. It's awful, awful, awful writing that doesn't understand anything the original was doing.
We wouldn't want that now, would we? You don't know where we go.
We get a whole scene of the girl using a puppet to talk to Pinocchio and wanting to help him. Of course, this doesn't happen and was pointless because this is where Pinocchio lies to Jiminy. So this whole scene is completely freaking pointless because you know what scene is coming next. Because yeah, Jiminy gets free of his jar and gets on board, and so now we get the lying scene. In the original, the blue fairy comes in and says this.
You see, Pinocchio, a lie keeps growing and growing until it's as plain as the nose on your face.
It's a very simple message and a good one, but the blue fairy never shows up again in this movie because she's not, like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. It's so stupid. So we don't get that scene. Instead, Pinocchio figures it out on his own, uses his nose to get a key, and then just says sorry and his nose goes back to normal. So there's just no lesson learned there, no important message. He just understands he has a power to grow his nose when he lies. Stupid, 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 stupid. So they're running back home and suddenly Pinocchio gets grabbed and is on board a coach heading to Pleasant Island, completely getting rid of any suspense or intrigue here. Because in the original, which yes, I'm saying a lot because it needs to be said, especially when it's like these kind of scenes. We see Honest John and Gideon are with the coachman and he offers them a lot of gold, which the fox assumes is to kill someone. But then he mentions Pleasant Island, and they are instantly terrified of it, making the audience question what this place is that makes killing okay, but not the island. But also that he is searching for naughty children, and they won't be coming back as boys. So we are left wondering what he means. It adds a level of creepiness. But nope, that's all gone now. Of course it is. The fox and cat never appear again. He is suddenly picked up, and that's it. Then Pinocchio is like, yeah, sounds good, but I don't trust you to the coachman. Or what, are you making him out to be a better kid? Be like a good boy? Like he doesn't trust him? Like the whole thing is that he just trusts everyone. So yeah, he pulls over and we get a song from him. Yep, it's damn awful, full of garbage CGI that we didn't ask for, and finally we get to Pleasure Island and it's just a CGI fest of god-awfulness. Even the goddamn drinks are CGI. Freaking why? You couldn't just have a kid have a real drink? And yeah, it's root beer, not actual alcohol, but whatever, that's not my problem with this whole scene. And like at one point they're going up a Ferris wheel and some kid is just up there on top of it suddenly, and like the green screen and effects are just awful, it's just so stupid. So this is meant to be like the whimsical scene, but it's just a CGI world that looks awful. The CGI is bad. Everything in it is CGI too. Like they go to a room where you smash clocks. Seriously? Clocks? Oh, because Geppetto has clocks. Oh, how smart of you, movie. And all the smash clocks are all CGI. Like, why? There's materials you can use that won't hurt the kids if that was your problem. But you know what the worst part is? The entire point of Pleasure Island is indulging. It's gluttony. It's sinning. It's being a bad boy. That's why they turn into donkeys later, because they indulge on this island, which has this power, I guess. But Pinocchio in this movie hates everything here. He hates what he sees. He doesn't indulge in any of it, which is just beyond goddamn stupid, because that's the entire point of this. It is that he's a kid that indulges in the stuff he shouldn't. That's why he starts turning into a donkey. But nope, he hates it in this movie, changing the entire freaking point of it all, because it seems Pinocchio is already a good boy when he shouldn't be. They even have, I guess you could say, influencers screaming at a camera, or you could say the critics screaming at this movie. It was weird. It was extremely weird. Like, go away with that kind of crap. All of a sudden, back to Geppetto, and a seagull appears and gives Geppetto a thing on Pleasure Island, giving him a reason to be on the boat. Again, didn't need an explanation, movie. Why do you feel a need to explain everything? Now they're playing pool, then we see a donkey being dragged away by the shadow creatures, which were in the original, so that's nothing new. Blah blah, now the transformation happens. And it's just awful CGI, it's awful, it's garbage, I don't feel anything, I don't care.
What do I look like to you? A jackass? You sure are. You sound just like a donkey.
They try to replicate the original in some ways, but again, the CGI is just garbage. Honestly, if the CGI was better, maybe I would react to it. But I feel nothing. Also, Pinocchio then grows wooden ears. Nice details, sure. But why? He hates it here. He doesn't indulge in anything. The other kid even mentions, oh, why didn't you smash any clocks? Meaning he didn't indulge. The only thing he indulges in is a sip of root beer. He has a sip of a soft drink. Oh, I'm definitely going to hell if that's all it takes to be called a bad boy. Oh, by the way, people say they're traumatized from this scene in the original. I don't get it. I've never... It did nothing to me. I, for one, had actually completely forgotten this scene even existed. Anyway, though, Jiminy is here making a grand entrance because they gotta do that in the modern movies, and they run off with the coachman chasing them, looking real stupid. Blah blah blah, they get home, Geppetto is gone, and so is his clocks, as the seagull once again shows up and tells them he sold them all to get a boat. So they explain the boat as well. Why? He lives near the water, why can't he just have a boat? So he goes out to sea, but Stromboli shows up, but nope, it's the puppet girl using a puppet to interact. Look, it's not a god-awful idea, but it's still awful. But yeah, so she has taken over Stromboli's little thing, like, because he was caught and gets taken away. Okay, so that bad guy gets what's coming, but what about the donkeys? Nope, never brought up again. Because you decided to add this new character, we can't have them having a bad ending for some reason. So she offers him a job, but because he has to go save Geppetto, he says no. And so his donkey ears disappear because he is a good boy. He's been trying to save his father for a good while now, so why didn't they disappear then? Like, oh, he was offered a job and said no, that's good. But she isn't an asshole like Stromboli. It's all kindness and love, so it's not a bad thing at all. Just, hey, how about let me save my dad and we'll talk tomorrow, okay? Sure. Also, there's a moment where they both talk at the same time.
Please give my best to your father.
And mine too. When you find him.
That's not how ventriloquists work, people. Unless you're randomly saying she is actually a real puppet but needs strings to move or some kind of bullshit like that. Please explain, movie. Explain. So the bird wants to help but can only take the cricket since Pinocchio's too heavy, but Pinocchio figures out an idea to drag him behind. But this doesn't make it easier for her, movie. If anything, the rope adds extra weight. Blah blah, they find Geppetto in very CGI water. Like, my god, he could have just filmed this in a pool or something to make some of the water look realistic. So he basically thinks he's Jesus walking on water because he's made of wood, but the bird is helping. You can't see the freaking bird. You can't actually... God damn it. And Pinocchio tells him his whole story, and then dun, they both get swallowed up by Monstro. And yes, time for my catchphrase. Why does everything I watch have vor in it? But Monstro is looking a lot more monstrous, and has freaking tentacles? The actual fuck is going on? He is called Monstro because he is a monster of a whale, not an actual monster. This was not needed at damn all. They made him into a sea monster for no reason besides making it more grand, because that's what modern movies have to try to do. Also, I don't know if it was just me, but when we see his teeth, it went all fuzzy like a bad green screen effect. So now they're inside, and I don't mind the look of it with the blue lighting, and this was the one moment that made me chuckle.
Here, grab this! Oh, I just hit my boy of wood with a piece of wood.
So now they're finding a way out, and I have to explain where Pinocchio gets the idea to make him sneeze. Because I have to explain everything. So yeah, a bunch of awful CGI effects now. Geppetto gets introduced to Jiminy, which is new, and so like, he can understand animals, so can he understand the bird? They get sneezed out, but Geppetto goes down, but is quickly saved by Pinocchio, and then goes into super speed with his legs like a propeller. Yeah, it's a really stupid Marvel movie superhero kind of moment. It's stupid. They then make it look like Geppetto dies to add a sad scene for no one to be sad about as Pinocchio hums the Wish Upon a song and a tear comes down onto Geppetto and he comes back to life. Classic, even though there's no stars for him to wish upon. So I guess Pinocchio really is just a god, I guess. Geppetto's all like, I love you, you are my real boy no matter what, blah blah blah, all that lovely stuff. But yeah, Pinocchio knows the way home, following the light. And so they walk towards it as Jiminy says that there's been lots of tales about them. And did he become a real boy in the end? Which yes, they do kind of show, yes, he does become a real boy. It's very subtle, but yes, he does. And it's god-awful CGI. Why does his head look so huge? So the question everyone has, did they die in the end? Well, no, I don't think so. I think they're just god-awful writers who had no idea how to end it. 2 out of 10. This movie is a 2 out of 10. It's really pointless, they add things that are not necessary, the CGI is garbage and overused, none of the new characters mattered, Tom Hanks didn't add anything. The only decent part was Honest John. And not because he is a fox, it's because it felt like a cartoon. Voice acting was good there. Yeah, the jokes are crap, but when it was just trying to do the original movie, it was fine. It worked perfectly fine. Like, I liked the music when he was, like, singing the little song. I liked that part of the movie.
Hi, diddly-dee, an actor's life for me. A high silk hat and a silver cane, a watch of gold with a diamond chain. Hi, diddly-dee, an actor's life is gay.
But yeah, it's not a good movie, not worth a watch, and not worth your time. Just watch the original. What did you guys think of the movie? Let me know in the comments if you have watched it, and yeah, let me know what you think. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel because I'll love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.